Hey guys, welcome to the video. I'm Akhlesh Soni, and in this tutorial I'm going to tell you how you can create a static web page using HTML and CSS. So before we start the video, I would like all of you to please subscribe to my channel and also like and share this video. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first of all, I have created these two files, index.html and style.css, and I have added few images as you can see. Now what we are going to do, you can download these images from the below links that I'm going to give in the description box, so you don't have to worry about that, and just create these two files with this icon here in VS Code Studio. And if you don't have VS Studio, please download it from the below link. So let's start with the index.html file. So what we are going to do is we just gonna type in doc. So what it's going to do, when we press enter, it will going to have all the detail that we need to create an HTML document. So it is a embedded text, I think we call it that. So it's an embedded text that is here to help us. Now what we are going to do, so let me explain you a little bit about this text. So as you can see, there are two bounding tags, HTML tags, which says that this document is bounded between these two tags. Okay, so we have another two sets of tags, which is head and body. So head contains metadata, data which is relevant to the page but isn't shown anywhere. Okay, exception should be this one, because the title is shown in the document. Okay, not in the main body of the document, but it already shows at the top of the document. Okay, so for the body is where you write the content of the web page. So you can write anything, you can create, you can add images, you can add input box, anything. So let's start by actually we are creating a web landing page for a car or something. Suppose we are creating that. So what we're gonna do, we should have a nav bar, something like nav bar. So let's start with a div. So what we're going to do, we are going to name it nav. Okay, so we know that it's a nav bar, so obviously it's gonna have a logo. So let's create that and also give it a class logo, and let's just say it's a logo. Okay, now we have to add a image of the logo, right? We already have the image here as this, so let's add that here in the image. So let's start with logo dot image. Okay, we have added the logo. Now for the second thing, in the nav bar, we also want to have a login and register button. So let's have that too. So just gonna create another section with the class name menu, and we'll have two buttons. So let's give it a class of text button, and gonna name it login, and we have another button. I'm gonna name it accent button. Okay, I have taken different classes. You will understand why I've taken different classes for the both of these later. So let's name it register. Register. Okay, so I have this text for this. Now what we are going to do, we have completed our nav bar HTML. Okay, so what we can do is either we can style it. So for styling, we have already given them names, so we don't have going to have actual problem here. So let's style them. So first of all, before styling, you have to link your style sheet to your index.html file or your HTML file. How you do it is just writing a line with link. So this tag here, which reference to a style sheet. Okay, so what style sheet you are referencing? It is style.cs, right? This style sheet you are referencing. You are basically linking this style file to this HTML file with this link. Okay, so now your style file is linked to your HTML file. So let's write some style. So basically, CSS is just properties that you define for given HTML element. So suppose we have defined HTML element as nav. So we just have to give a dot because we have defined it as class. So we use dot. If we have defined it as ID, so we have to use a hash, right? Like this. But we have defined it as a class, so we can just use it as okay. So now we have to define some properties for that. So we want both of the things to be horizontally proposed because as you can see in here, so for seeing the result, what we can actually do is we can drag this and place it here. Now we can see the result. Okay, not looks doesn't look so good. Yeah, we can fix it. So let's go to style sheet and start writing some nav. What we want it to be horizontally displayed. So let's add it. Right. This will actually display it horizontally. But we want some of the things too. So just write things like align items, center, we want it to be aligned centered. Justify content, we want space between them because we want them to be separated by some amount of space, right? So there you go. Now we have to define one universal property because we want all the margin and padding to be 0 for all elements. So asterisk is used to define all element. Now we have considered the margin and padding for all element as 0, so we should have no problem. Now we can check if it worked. So it has worked pretty well. It is horizontally fixed now. So let's style it up furthermore. So we have defined logo as logo. So we can just say that the image inside the logo will have a height of roughly 70 px, not more than that. Okay. And also we'll have to give logo some space too. So we'll give it margin of 0, 20 px. Okay. And now what it happens, you can see it's perfectly fit here, and so just can write some more code for better. So for the menu, let's start menu. What we want with the menu is we also want it to be displayed horizontally. So just give this and write this align items and justify content. We want it to have space around. We don't want it to be spaced infinitely or space between. So this will do. It will have equal amount of space around both. Okay. Now this is working pretty good. Now let's have some style for our text button and our accent button. Okay. For text button, what we're going to do is we're going to have a weight as 600, color as gray, not exactly gray, we're going to put a little more grayish gray to it. Okay. You can just copy it and make it background color. Okay. So we have made background color of action button as the color of our text button. So color represents the font color, right? Background color represents the background of that HTML. So for that, and we have to give it a color for the text. So we are giving it white color because the background is dark already. And also give it some weight. Okay, and some radius of 15. Just a second. Okay, padding of 10 px, 18 px. Okay, now let's check. Okay, it looks perfectly fine. We have to change font, so let's come back here and change the font family for whole page. We've changed it, and now we want to have a little more space. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a margin of 0, 20 px, and in here we're gonna have a margin right of it. Okay, that's a beautiful margin here. You can see like that, and okay. So now when we're done with it, we should also mention that we have nav as transparency with a background color of, so it will be safe if we don't want it to be moved or just a static. Okay, so now as you can see, it's working perfectly fine right here. Now we are going to work on a different part of our web. It is going to be a different section, which is going to be a landing page. Just give it a class as landing. Now we'll have one image and few text in this section. Okay, what we're going to have is a div. Oh, sorry, it's div, not a div. So this is going to be named as intro because we're going to write some things that don't belong to my mind or document. Just right. Okay. Now with that, let's have a of class of whatever. Let's just say a car. We have car as car, and car dot png. Okay, and here we can have a h1 tag to define the heading. So fastest what was the name? Rental service. Okay, fastest rental service. And we can have a p tag which will say your time is valued to everyone. Oh, doesn't make any sense. So just say your time is, I think it's right? No, what's right? Maybe this one. Okay, this one. Okay. And just gonna have a button which have a class name as accent button, right? And if we save same as the register to the that's nice little introduction page. Now when you see it, it's just down. The car is here and the thing is so big. Okay, what we're going to do is gonna start it again. So let's start it. So for the landing page, we're gonna give it a height of 400 px. I think that would be sufficient for it. And a background color of X. Okay. And give it a display, flags, align items, enter, justify content, space around. Okay, that will be good. Now with the intro part, we just have to do the same thing with flags, but we're going to change one thing. Is flags direction going to be column, because we want it to be in column, not in horizontal like in row. Okay, so that is there. And one more thing for the image, so it's the car image, and we want it to be have a height of maybe 100 pixels. Let's check how 100 pixels. So, oh, it didn't look really good. So change it to 300. Now, okay, now this is. Let's work on the intro part as well. So with intro, we want h1 tag have a margin bottom of 10 px, and for the intro p tag, we have a margin bottom of 20. Okay, now it looks much. And we also want the line item to center. Now it will be look something like this. Okay. Now it's fine. So let's work on the below part, which is going to be something that is going to look like a property or feature. Okay, so let's work on that. Close this one first. Now we have the third section, which is going to be property. Just name it as features. Okay, we'll have three features here. So just define how our features look. So one feature will be like this, which have our image tag for the image. So let's say the first one, fast.png, and h4 tag, it will say fast fast as pork, fast as pork. And now we can have this as a component. In React, we also create something like this with component, and that is so much easier than this. So I'll teach you React later, but let's work on it first. And now here, what we are going to do is, okay, so for here, what we are going to do, we're going to change the image to a second property or feature, which is, I think it is, okay, I don't know what it is. Okay, it's location. So let's say location, and just name it as best pick up. Okay, and the last one would be safe. So safe and safe and sound. Okay, we have these three features, which you can see it looks pretty bad right now. We can see size and things. Beautify it with style. We have defined features as features, right? So just using the same tactics as class, align item, center, justify, content, space, okay, and with padding of about, you can see it's pretty nice, pretty nice. Let's work on the feature image. So for the image, we want it to be height of max 7. So see how it looks. Yeah, it looks perfect. Now what we want for the feature is to have display text direction column and align item center. Now it basically centers our item, and also we want some margin below it. So 15 would be looks great. We can change the color of the feature text, which will be color gray. Now gray looks okay. Oh, it's H4. Oh, now it's okay, but color is so dull. Now it looks fine. Just fine. Okay. Now for the footer part, we just have this as the footer. We just gonna call it footer. Okay, and we'll have two of the div here. One will have address and another will have some links. Okay, so just name it as address. It has a p tag which will say themes of patch var number 3023 local road Jamnagar new date. I guess this could be an address. I don't know. It's just a random one. I'm not gonna share my address with you. So that's it, and we have a links section too. And just gonna write some links. I'm not gonna add actual links. I'm gonna add links like this too. So in here you have to add your URL like www.facebook.com. You can add any URL you want, and whenever you're going to click here, it will direct you to that. Okay. So now we are not putting any URL because we don't have anything. So we're just gonna stay like that, and we can have it as Instagram, and we can have multiple of them. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, contact. Okay, so we're just going to have four of them. Now let's just style them. So for the footer, I want the background color to be little blue, not blue, just a darker version of blue. And padding, obviously padding going to be 30px and 20. That's it. So for the address, what we want is to have a color. Okay, we can just have color as white here. Okay, when you check, fine, right here we have the links, but it doesn't look good. So let's change that to display black. Align items center and justify content to space between. Now you can see it looks much better, but the links doesn't look appealing. So what we're going to do is we're going to write links a as color white. And now links, and under links we have a. So set those colors as white. So now it is linked with active feature. So what we have done here, you can also add a little margin to it. So 0, a 5px margin would be great. Now it looks much better. So you have your address again. So there you go. We have created a landing page with HTML CSS. You can deploy it whenever you want.